Hi guys, it's Beverly. I wanted to come on here and just give you a project update and a medical update at the end. So anyway, here's a project that I'm working on. This is some yarn I think I mentioned that was donated. I might have showed it before. And I'll link this pattern below. The yarn is what's really making it, you guys. I'm using Big Twist in the color medium gray, Big Twist. And I showed you this before. I'm using Red Heart with Love, Delightful. And I have three more skeins of this. So based on how that goes, that's how long the blanket's gonna be. Okay. Let's see what else. I'm gonna make a baby sweater out of this yarn. I showed you this before. This is the Ice Cream Roving in the colorway Pixie Sticks. And I had ordered, hearing a noise, I had ordered some purple chenille. I'm waiting for it. It was on back order. So I'm going to make a blanket out of the purple chenille and a sweater and a hat. And of course, there'll be leftovers. Next thing I'm working on is some headbands. Now, I already made this headband. And we'll put it on Sally. Say hello, Sally. I'm going to put it on Sally. Now, the reason I started making a couple headbands is because this lady that's in our crochet club, there we go, there's Sally's headband. And I just came up with the pattern on my own with just a little help. And of course, there's the seam that I did in the back. The reason I'm making a couple headbands is a lady in our crochet club made some headbands. I measured them. They were like 26 inches and 24 inches. This is a 20 inch. And of course, it will stretch, a little. And I talked to her, about it. I didn't criticize her work. I didn't criticize her work, but I talked to her and I said, oh, what pattern did you use? And she said, oh, I came up with it in my brain. And I said, I noticed that they, were on the larger side. And she said, well, that's for people with big hair. Okay. And what she was doing was she was doing the twist to join, which is absolutely fine. But what she was doing is she was making a big, humongous join. And she was leaving raw edges. She wasn't sewing it in good. It just gave you a headache looking at it, So I took them apart. She had made them around. If she had made them this way, I would have just took off a couple rows and used the headband. But since she did them around, they just couldn't be fixed. So with this one here, I did 72 chains. The reason I did 72 chains is previously I have the owl headbands, which can also be used for a cowl. I don't want to put this on me because I have a larger head, but it can also be used as a cowl. See what I'm saying? So 72 inches was what I had made the owl headbands out of. 72 inches, 72 stitches. I cast on 70, I did a chain of 72, okay? And then with those at the end, you join them as you go. But my join as you go on these kind of headbands, the first couple rows just don't hang right. So I just decided to do a slip stitch to join. And see, my join is not really that big. You know, you can see a little. So then she had this pretty purple or lilac color. And so I'm making this one right now. I'm almost finished. And this one, you can see, this one is the same stitch that I use when I do the Swiffer dusters. I chained 72, then I did a single in one stitch, double in the next, single, double, single, double, single, double, and then on the next row I did a single in the double and a double in the single. And so I've got this much yarn left, and like for example, this is like her first row, and so I'm going to measure, and you can see there's just, those are those extra inches that makes it so big. So but when they were joined together, they were still 26 inches and 24 inches. So this one's almost done. And I'm sorry that I'm, doing this under the table type thing, but you guys know. You guys know. The thought was there, the yarn was there, and it will be continued. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna make is this Bloom Chunky. This is the color Bluebell. And there, like I said before, I mentioned it. I don't want to rattle too much here. Somebody donated some, and then I bought some to add to it. And the same thing happened again. Somebody donated some Bloom, one skein of the Dahlia. And see, a lot of people, that's fine. You buy one skein, but you can't do anything with one skein. So I was lucky enough to find at Premier. It's Premier Bloom Chunky, that they have bags of 3 for $12. So I ordered 2 bags, so now I'll have 7, which is going to be a big blanket. It's a number 5, but it'll make a really pretty blanket, and everything will work out great. Now, I'm going to pause the video because I want to get the information on the baby sweater that I made. Okay, I'm back. So I'm going to be putting up a picture of a baby sweater, hat, and blanket that I finished. And if you saw my Facebook post, you saw a picture of it there. It was the one that was done in the loops and threads ombre hues. And I did the baby sweater that I found on a car went by, distraction, that I found on YouTube. And it's called the Baby Crochet Cardigan by Crochet Nuts. Shells on double crochet yoke, newborn. Okay, now Crochet Nuts is her channel, and she has hat patterns. She has this crochet baby sweater that I'm going to show you the picture of. Now she does a tutorial, okay, and I followed the tutorial, and I started the starting chain with the same amount as she did. Then the second row, I made sure I had the chains for the yoke. I did the yoke. I had the number of chains that she had in her yoke. But when it came to the shells, the shells start at the end of the rope. End of the rope. Did you catch that? End of the yoke, of course. And you create the caps of the sleeves and the front or the body. Okay. She came up with 31 shells. I came up with 33 shells. And I noticed it was funny because there was a comment on the bottom of her video that said I'm trying to get to the comments here. There was a comment. Yeah, I thought it was taken down, but it was similar to my experience. I'm trying to pause this. Okay, my first increase of 58 was right on, but for some reason I cannot get to 77 for the second row, and the whole thing. And so I made a beautiful baby sweater inspired by this lady's pattern. If you need a baby sweater and you go there to make, and you choose this one because you like it, I would be curious to know if your chains come out right. My sweater's beautiful. I love it. I don't know if it got donated yesterday because my friend was going, or next week or whatever. It's not important. But it was just weird. And it made me feel good because there's all these positive comments. And one other person had problems with the chain. But the thing is, I had made a sweater with a yoke beat many, many times. And I just wanted inspiration on a different pattern. It's the same basic construction. I like to do a tie close versus buttons. Came out beautiful. You're going to see the picture. But I couldn't make it work based on her tutorial. So I did my own thing, like we always do. I did my own thing. Okay, so I think that's all I have for right now. I'm looking to see if I printed any patterns, because I'm always printing patterns. You should see this stack. It's not that big. I'm just kidding. But anyway, so that's what's going on. Now the health update, okay? So that was the yarny stuff. This is the health update. You can tell I'm back. It's me. Okay. So when was it? Wednesday. This is Saturday. Okay. Wednesday the 3rd, I went and had the 2 stents removed from my bladder, urethra, kidney thingy. And it went very smoothly. Now, I did notice, I'm from Michigan, you guys, go blue. I was searching on the procedure on how to remove the stents because I had 2, one right, one left. And University of Michigan, there was a thing on there, a poster, whatever you want to call it, on Google that said, take a Tylenol, acetaminophen, whatever one you take, a pain pill, before you go. And it might make the procedure easier. And so I did. What's the deal? So I took a Tylenol. And I've also heard, and I've done it, when you go for a mammogram, ladies, take a Tylenol or your pain medicine. I'm not a doctor. Before you go, and sometimes that will make it easier. Okay? But anyway, it works for me. It worked for me. It might work for you. So anyway, I'm not a doctor. So I took that advice from University of Michigan. It went very smooth, and everything's been perfect. I went to lunch afterwards. It was so weird. I've been eating, but after I was done with that, it was like hungry. So, we went to Olive Garden. If you guys have ever heard of the Villages in Florida, we went to the village. It was, the doctor's office was in the Villages, this one location. And so we went to Olive Garden, pouring down rain. Oh God, it was raining. I mean, my husband said, don't run. It's just water. I know that's silly, but it's true. It's raining down on my hair, on my shoes, all of this. It's just water, So anyway, we went in and I enjoyed my meal. I brought home enough for 2 more meals afterwards, but it was real fun. And for some reason, I was just really hungry. And I came home and I did lay down. I don't know if I slept, but I did lay down. And I just woke up being me again, you guys. And I'm normal. I feel my normal self, and I'm so happy. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I got up and we, did all these different errands, went to the grocery store, and I had energy for that. And I had not had that energy until those stents were removed. I never really had an issue with pain with the stents. Sure, you have to go to the bathroom every 30 minutes. But anyway, I just never had, because I had that other, that put me in the hospital, the other stuff. But I did read, I don't know if I mentioned it on here on the last video, but I did find out that Duke University did a study that said 1 out of 7 people end up having what I had, and they don't know why. So I go back on April 10th, I think it is, to find out what the content of this kidney stone was. And then they did one more flank, I think he called it x-ray. And I'm doing good. My energy is back. Unfortunately, my appetite is back. So anyway, you guys, thank you so much. I want to give you an update. I wanted to come on here and be silly with you guys. So, love you guys. Bye.